The 2022 season has seen the biggest rule change in over 40 years. Just like with all rule changes in the past, there are always teams that come out on top, while others can't build a fast car. Near the end of the 2021 season, Martin Brundle, who talks about racing on Sky Sports, said that Mercedes' Red Bull would have a hard time in the upcoming seasons because of their big fight for the title and the new spending limit rule. Teams like Ferrari and McLaren, who haven't won a single championship since 2007 and 2008, hoped that he could win because of the big championship fight in 2021. But 15 races into the 2022 season, and we can see that not much has changed. Red Bull is still fighting for the title and will very likely win both the team and drivers' championship, which would be the first time they win both championships since 2013. Mercedes, on the other hand, can still be found at the front of the pack, but is having their worst season since 2013. The German team isn't used to being a slower team in a race, and so they have tried everything they can dobby at their competition. The best example is their amazing no side pod idea, or maybe we hold say, they're not so amazing side pod idea. Wolff was super happy during per-season testing, and the German team expected to once again have been smarter than the competition. But it was Adrian Newey and his team, along with Ferrari, who came out on top. Sadly for the Ferrari drivers, their team of planners and pit stop crew couldn't match how good their drivers and car were. Former F1 champion Rosberg said, even F2 or F3 teams do a better job at their planning and pit stops than Ferrari. You are in the pits and there is no tire there, in a normal race. No, it is Red Bull that is them to beat, and to do so, Mercedes went to crazy lengths to slow down the Bulls. Ever since Mercedes had durable bouncing problems, Toto Wolff started to yell for a change of rules. What Toto didn't mention was that it is mainly his team that bounced on track, but as they say, trying hard pace off, and eventually Wolff started to go after all sorts of rules to slow down Ferrari and Red Bull. The newly added technical rule to prevent bouncing and the use of bendy floors brought a big smile to the German garage. Russell said, "There is no doubt that Ferrari and Red Bull have pushed the rules in that way, and we have followed it as the rule was meant to be. Spa is going to be interesting. The rule changes may bring other teams closer to us." Their smiles quickly went away as they had one of the worst qualifying sessions in over 10 years' time, as they were a full 1.8 seconds behind Max Verstappen. 2 races later, and it is the Red Bull crew that walks around with a big smiling fires back at Mercedes. So what can we figure out? Waste the effect of the technical rule on Red Bull? Why did Horner and Verstappen have a laugh so hard about Mercedes? How has Ferrari been affected, and what did Toto say about Red Bull? Let's find out. The last 2 races saw a dominating win of Red Bull driver Verstappen. Although Mercedes was more competitive at Zandvoort, which is similar to the Hungaroring, they were no match for the Red Bull. Although many Mercedes fans say that Verstappen was helped by the virtual safety car, the Dutch driver said he would have one anyway. After the Dutch Grand Prix headed to Viaplay, I would have caught Hamilton and Russell if they stayed on the medium tires. No matter the plan, we would have won. Wolff was really mad after the race. He expected his team to be able to win the race if it wasn't for the virtual safety car. After Perez spun during qualifying and took away any pole position chances for the Mercedes drivers, Yuki Tsunoda added fuel to the conspiracy theories be causing a weird and strange virtual safety car. Tsunoda, that stops on track, drives without his seatbelt on, to then stop on track again. It was a strange thing to see. Despite the disappointing and off race, Mercedes was closer to match the speed of the Red Bull off Verstappen, and both drivers managed to beat second driver Perez. What has been more obvious is the lack of speed of the Ferrari drivers ever since the technical rule was enforced at the Belgium Grand Prix. Binotto, team boss of Ferrari, said that his team has not been hurt by the technical rule. But what was the technical rule about in the first place? Mercedes said that Ferrari Red Bull used a bendy floor that would allow them to lower their car height without the track scraping off too much off their plank underneath the car. The plank underneath the car is 10 mm thick before the race, and should be at least 9 thick after the race. If too much material is scraped off, it means that the car height was too low and a team gets punished. All teams try to lower their car this year as much as possible to reduce drag and make more downforce levels. However, because of the bouncing problems Mercedes faced at the beginning of the season, they had to raise the ride height to reduce bouncing and limit plank damage. However, this really hurt their car performance. By having a bendy plank, which has a hard part at the front where the FIA does their thickness tests and a softer part at the back, teams could reduce bouncing while keeping their car height low. Mercedes was super happy when they told this problem to the FIA, but both Red Bull and Ferrari said they didn't use these parts. After the Belgian Grand Prix, Binotto said to Motorsport.com, "I don't know about others, but new technical rule has not affected our performance. Yet we can't ignore the changes in car height as well as setup differences Scuderia had to make." Binotto said that Spa would always a difficult track to win on. But what happened during the Dutch Grand Prix? The Dutch Grand Prix has many things in common with the Hungaroring, which up until Ferrari decided to ruin Leclerc's race, was moving towards an easy win for them. After the Dutch Grand Prix, many reporters asked why the Scuderia had so many problems at Zandvoort. Did the technical rule have a bigger effect than expected? Once again, Binotto wouldn't admit it had anything to do with the rule change. It is not the rule itself that is causing us problems. Its effects are tiny. Here we have experienced a situation very similar to Budapest where this rule was not there. No matter what tires we were using, we were not fast. So what was the effect of the technical rule on Red Bull? Pretty much nothing. Although all teams had to make small changes to their cars to follow the rule changes, the Red Bull still sits very low to the track and has no bouncing problems. Horner already mentioned that new rules wouldn't affect them, and he was sure that it would make their lead bigger. After the Belgian Grand Prix, which saw a dominating performance of Red Bull, Horner couldn't help but laugh. On the face of it, I would probably have to thank Toto for the technical rule. I think this track has played to our strengths. A lot of expectation was placed on that technical rule. Maybe it's hurt others more than it has hurt ourselves. We haven't really changed how we work the car. Verstappen, who was in a different league in Spa and Zandvoort and has a real chance of breaking the all-time record of winning the most races in a single season, was laughing about the technical rule. To the Telegraph he said joking, "That technical rule has been very, very bad for us. As I said before, I didn't expect it to make much difference to our car. Whether it does for Ferrari, I don't know." So what did Toto Wolff have to say after 2 races? To Racing News 365, he say joking, "The technical rule clearly made Red Bull's performances better. No, I have no idea. As I said before, it doesn't happen that a team becomes half a second slower or faster because of a small rule change. I don't know if the rule had an effect on Ferrari, but I doubt it played a role. Rules are rules. We have to do better. We need to meet our own expectations and beat Red Bull. The only team that seems to be affected by it is Ferrari. From a fan's point of view, it would be great if the FIA can give more clarity about what teams didn't follow the original rules. A rule change like this only happens because some teams didn't follow them. Although there were many rumors, no team has officially said yes or been found guilty of breaking the floor rules. The lack of clear information only creates confusion and fuels conspiracy theories. Do you think any of the top teams have been affected by the technical rule, or do you believe all Theodem bosses saying it didn't affect them? Let me know in the comment section below.